Hello, what's up, everybody? Mr. G here with you guys live on your Sunday afternoon. I hope you guys are all having a great weekend as we talk about that weather forecast that is going to be coming up for the week ahead. We're going to take a look at that. Let's make sure I am on YouTube. Let me go to my channel and my videos. Let's see if we're going to get our lives going. All right. All right. So we are live on YouTube. And I'm hoping that I don't have the sound issues. The last time I had sound issues when I used StreamYard, and it was horrible. People were in the chat telling me, hey, it sound bad. It's like muffled or something. But hopefully I'm good today. And let's see if we're on Facebook as well. Testing all out, making sure it's good. Well, anybody in Florida or Carolinas, how was the hurricane for you? How did you do? How much damage did you get? What did you see? If you're watching online and you want to throw something in the chat, say hello. Let me know what did you experience with that, and yeah, pretty rough week for some folks out there across the state of Florida. All right, we are on Facebook as well. I do see it. All right, cool. Facebook and YouTube is up and running. I'm hoping to sound good. I have no way of knowing how that goes, how that is. Now, here we are with your weather today. We are going to be talking about today's weather as well as the weather through Monday and Tuesday. Kind of get you started for the work week. Very different week than we saw last week is with the hurricane down there in Florida and across the southeast. But today we are going to be talking about fall weather across much of the nation. It's going to be very cool in the northeast and the Great Lakes, even down to the southeast. We're going to be seeing a lot cooler weather across the eastern half of the nation. Still a little warm in the central plains and out towards the west will be pretty seasonable for this time of the year. So let's jump into our data and everything right now. Here is our national radar, and we're seeing the remnants of Hurricane Ian right here. This is no longer tropical. This is currently an upper level low pressure center, and that's producing some pretty heavy rainfall. We're going to be looking at a couple of inches, 2 to 3 inches of rain in many locations through the mid Atlantic states right now. So, through the DC, Baltimore, as well as into portions of New Jersey, southern New Jersey, Delaware down there. We're going to be seeing that heavy rain through the state of Maryland. So, Baltimore, DC, Philly, Trenton, New Jersey, Dover, Wilmington. We're going to be seeing some heavy rain and some thunderstorms as well. Flooding is going to be the biggest issue down there. That what we're seeing there, and we have this cooler air across the Great Lakes here through Minnesota and the Dakotas, as well as into Nebraska, back over into Colorado. We have an area of low pressure here, and it is spreading this rainfall through the upper Midwest and the high plains and the northern Rockies as well. There's also a few snowflakes in that as well. So we're going to be seeing some snow here through portions of Wyoming and Idaho, southern Montana, this region right in here in the Rockies and in the Wasatch Range around Salt Lake City, Weber Basin here, Ogden, and Utah. We're going to be dealing with a few snowflakes up above the 8,000 foot level, rain and snow mix. So we're going to be seeing some of those monsoonal thunderstorms as the monsoons are kind of still going across the four corners this weekend. Here is our satellite. There is our East Coast moisture in action here. We have our upper level storm in this region, and it took up the mantle of Hurricane Ian, and all of its moisture got caught up into this storm system here. So the remnants of Ian and an upper level storm system is going to be making all of that rainfall from Maryland, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Northern Virginia as well. So in this region, all the way through the Northeast towards Massachusetts and Boston, Rhode Island and Connecticut, New York, Long Island, going to be seeing some pretty persistent rainfall this afternoon and evening. Here is our monsoonal fetch in the Four Corners through Colorado, New Mexico, and also in Arizona. We could be seeing some of those monsoon thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. Our upper level storm system across the northern plains of Montana and North Dakota, we're going to be seeing some elevated thunderstorms. So flash flooding is going to be the primary threats this afternoon, and gusty winds. All right, here's your temperatures right now. It's cool out in the mountains of the Rockies and the northern Rockies over here towards Idaho and Montana, western Wyoming. Temperatures in the 50s, but we got those 30s and 40s on those mountain peaks out there and down through Colorado as well. Those temperatures are very cool. And down in Denver, 58 degrees. We are seeing 64 in Salt Lake City right now, and 50s across Montana and 50s across most of the state of Colorado and Utah. But it's 87 down in Phoenix. So we have our warmth down here across the Mojave Desert and the Sonora Desert in Arizona. We're seeing those 70s rising up through the central and northern plains out of the state of Texas because our area of low pressure coming in from the west. We got warm air advection to the east, and we have high pressure in Canada with our remnants of Ian out west, out to the east and southeast here. But it's that flow that's going to be that return flow around that ridge of high pressure in the northeast. But we're going to get deeper into that in just a moment. Here's our severe weather outlook for the next 3 days. This afternoon, our severe weather is going to be that marginal risk for severe weather, marginal there, you see the dark green, and that is going to be heavy rain and gusty winds as the primary threat. Flash flooding can occur in this region where we're going to see the most rainfall today. And these thunderstorms are elevated because they're at the top, near the tops of the mountains. So they're high elevation storms. So you can get a flash flood even though it's not raining where you are. If you are in a low canyon or a valley, you can experience a flash flood because it's raining in the mountain. And that rain could be very heavy, and that runoff will run down the side of the mountain to the canyons and passes below. So you could be in a completely sunny area and get a flash flood because of thunderstorms nearby over the mountain. So we're going to be experiencing that in this region, and that's going to be the primary threat for that severe weather this afternoon. Tomorrow, no severe weather expected, but we can have those isolated instances of a flash flood through the Rockies and the high plains. So we're going to be dealing with these elevated thunderstorms. You typically see high base thunderstorms through the high plains because these elevations are up above 6,000 feet. You know how they call Denver the Mile High City because its elevation is 5,600 feet. It is not quite a mile high, actually. It's just short of by a couple hundred feet of being actually a mile above sea level. But nevertheless, it's still called the Mile High City because the high is 5,872 feet. That is what's called, that is a mile. So we could be seeing those high elevation thunderstorms that could lead to some flash flooding and gusty winds. A lot of times these storms, they're so high up in the atmosphere that their rainfall don't reach the ground, and all you're left is gusty outflow winds. And again, the same thing is going to be the case for us on Tuesday into Wednesday, and we're going to be seeing embedded showers and thunderstorms in this region. Again, that potential No organized severe weather is expected, but a rogue, isolated severe thunderstorm is always possible whenever you have a thunderstorm. But we're not expecting any organized severe weather at this time, Monday and Tuesday. Here's our tropical outlook. Now that we're no longer talking about Ian, we have several other tropical waves to contend with. We got one out here by the Windward Islands, and we have another one out here just off the coast of Africa and the Cape Verde Island. So we have another tropical wave in the Atlantic right now. Here's where we are with the Pacific. We have Hurricane Arlene just off the coast of southwestern Mexico. And we have another tropical wave out here that's pretty robust out here a little bit further to the southwest, and that has a 50% chance of further development. Here we are as we take a closer look at disturbance one, and this is a tropical wave that is located several hundred miles south of Cabo Verde Islands, and it continues to produce its disorganized showers and thunderstorms, and the environmental conditions are forecast to be favorable for some gradual development during the next several days. So this guy is going to continue to move to the west into more stable conditions that are conducive for tropical development. And therefore, a tropical depression is likely to form during the early or middle part of next week, while the system moves westward, then turns northwestward or northward toward the end of the week over the eastern tropical Atlantic. All right, so we have the showers and thunderstorms activity associated with the tropical wave located several hundred miles west of the Windward Islands has increased over the past day or so, and some gradual development of this wave is possible during the next few days as it moves generally westward at 15 to 20 miles per hour. All right, here's our second tropical disturbance here, and this one is located several hundred miles west of the Cabo Verde Islands, and it continues to produce disorganized showers and thunderstorms. And again, it's expected to move into favorable conditions over the next several days. So a tropical depression is likely to form. So again, I think this is both for the same. All right. So here we are with Hurricane Arlene. And Hurricane Arlene is a major hurricane with a Category 3, nearly a Category 4, and it has winds of sustained at 125 miles per hour. It is a major hurricane, but as you can see, on Monday in the morning, it's expected to start to diminish, and it will drop down to a Category 2 hurricane before making landfall at about 6 p.m. on Monday. So it's going to make landfall in southwestern Mexico, and we're going to be seeing high impacts from high winds, heavy rain that's going to lead to flash flooding and mudslides. The western coast of Mexico has very high mountain ranges, so mudslides are a huge problem when hurricanes hit the west coast of Mexico. And here we are with the satellite view of our hurricane. As you can see, it doesn't have a well-defined eye. It's a very tight eye. See, you don't really see a hole there for our eye. So we have we don't have a nicely vertically stacked hurricane here. So as you can see, a lot of convection right around the eye wall. So the center, we see a lot of convection, and we see a lot of convection off toward the north and west. Here is our forecasted track and our main surface pressure as it this is for Invest 98. This is the next storm. All right. So Invest 98 is right here to the south, and this one has about 1,009 millibars. So it's a very weak tropical depression or tropical wave. is very weak, very high pressure, 10-10, 10-10 millibar, 10-11. So it doesn't look like over the next 168 hours that we're going to see any rapid development or intensification. Here is this guy, very disorganized, a lot of convection though. It's got a lot of good thunderstorms to the west here of the center of circulation. Our center is right here. We got good convection to the southeast and southwest and then to the northwest. So it's not very tight. It's kind of loosely organized, but it does have good convection with it. Here's our forecast analysis. All right, here's the surface analysis for this afternoon for your Sunday. There's our East Coast storm system off the coast there, and it has our center, our big area of low pressure, and moisture going back over the southeast. So we're going to be seeing, we have a trough here, and that trough is going to be helping to provide heavy rain through West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. So we're going to be seeing that heavy rain in that flow here because we have high pressure over Canada, and it's creating a northwest and then a northeast flow as we have kind of like nor'easter conditions in a way with that northeasterly wind. This is actually northeast going to southwest, and it's a very moisture laden air. So moisture from the remnants of Ian is going to continue to spread that rain through this part of the country. And we have a southerly flow through the upper Midwest here as we have our area of high pressure across Canada. And this region, we have what's called theta E advection, warm air advection that's being pulled up from the south and pulled to the north ahead of our next, this upper level storm system coming out of the Rockies. This is a very weak storm. You can see the barometric pressure is kind of high. It's very disorganized. Not a lot of severe weather with it. We're going to see sub thunderstorms. There is a triple point right here. We do have a warm front or stationary front, and then this stationary front, because this storm is very slow moving. There's not a whole lot behind it to push it along. We have another low pressure and a trough off the west coast. So we got a warm flow coming up from the south. So we're going to be seeing relatively mild conditions across the northeast. But we're going to be continuing with this flow. You see how this flow is coming up out of Mexico. You see this here? And that's that monsoonal moisture flow coming up off the Gulf of Mexico and into the Four Corners and into the Rockies. And so it's kind of providing a nice supply of moisture for the storm system. It's just this guy doesn't really know what to do with it. It's not a very strong storm, not a lot of deep moisture, not a lot of deep low pressure as well. So we have high pressure moving into Northern California, and that's going to make a offshore flow down around LA and San Diego and the valleys down there. So that offshore flow is going to make things nice and warm in LA, temperatures in the 80s and 90s in the valley. So a nice offshore flow, maybe some low clouds and fog along the immediate coast in the early morning hours that'll burn off about the mid-morning or so. Here is our upper level storm again on our upper level analysis here. You see a little piece of moisture breaks off and drops down into Arizona. So that's going to keep those thunderstorms going down there. But our guy is going to move on off to the east, slightly jog to the northeast a little bit, head toward the arrowhead of Minnesota before dropping to the southeast, and is going to move across Wisconsin and into Michigan as we move through the week ahead. Here's our remnants of Hurricane Ian going off the east coast, headed out into the Atlantic. So we're going to continue to see nice, cool weather across the northeast and that rain across the mid-Atlantic. So that rain is going to last several days out there across the mid-Atlantic, as both of these weather systems aren't very energized and they're not really moving, being pushed along here. Here is our temperature outlook for the next several days. As you can see, that warm air advection, that you see that warmer air through the plains, so up into the Canadian border, all the way down to the Gulf Coast of Texas and the Mexican border. You see when it turns darker as we move through Tuesday now. So now through Wednesday, we're going to see it warm up. But then you see a nice cooler air come into Minnesota and across the plains as that upper level storm system finally moves off to the east. And once it moves over Minnesota and the Great Lakes, then you're going to really see that cooler air. You're going to see the bottom kind of fall out. Where you have those 70s to near 80 degrees, we're going to see 50s and 60s. Like I said, the weather's not really that exciting right now. Not really that exciting. Here's where we're going to be seeing any significant rainfall. This is through the Wednesday and Thursday of this week. So we're going to see some areas pick up about maybe a half inch of rain. A couple places along the New Mexico and Colorado border right here, like Durango, Pueblo. Down here we can see an inch and a half of rain, 87, 92, 100ths of an inch and a half here near Albuquerque. So we definitely can see some heavy rain down here across New Mexico and even into southern Arizona. A few areas picking up about a half inch. But we're seeing very light amounts across the central and northern plains in the northern Rockies. There's a half inch there almost. So a quarter to a half inch across the northern half of this map. But down here across the southern end, the Four Corners region is where we could definitely see higher rainfall amounts this week. And here we are as we take a look at the remnants of Ian, and we are seeing some regions here, North Dakota, not North, what am I talking about? North Dakota. Here's Delaware, southern New Jersey, 3-4 inches of rain possible. Back to Virginia, Maryland. Definitely we're going to be seeing by Wednesday. And this is going through Thursday the 6th. So through Thursday, we can see up to 9 inches of rain, 9.4 inches of rain. So some regions are going to pick up, and that's probably out here, to be honest. That's out here over the Atlantic. But it's in the system thing. So we're looking at 4 to 5 inches of rain across the mid-Atlantic states. All right. The other area that we have interesting weather going on, if you want to say that, other than the heavy rain along the mid-Atlantic here, look at those temperatures. These are overnight low temperatures that we're going to see in the Northeast. Temperatures below freezing. So we're going to have frost and freeze warnings in the Northeast this week. So through Monday and Tuesday into Wednesday, Thursday is going to start to warm up a little bit. But definitely through Monday and Tuesday, we're going to see those overnight lows in the 30s. But as we get north tier Wednesday and Thursday, this is only showing overnight temperatures. And we're going to see it go from the 30s, and we're going to start to see those low to mid 40s by the time we get to Thursday night. So definitely a cool start to the week. And it's going to warm up because our Midwest storm system is going to be moving toward the Northeast. And it's going to create some warm air advection. You're going to see that warmer air come up from the south. So we're going to see a few days where it's going to warm up until our storm system passes and that colder air returns. Here's your weather forecast for the next 3 days. This afternoon, we have our heavy rain across the mid-Atlantic states from North Carolina to just about south of Boston there. We're going to see rain. But our heavy rain is going to be right in here this afternoon, where we can see up to 5 inches of rain possible. So that's our rain there. And we have our storm system in the upper Midwest, the upper plains, and the Rockies. We have an associated cold front right there, or frontal boundary. We have some snowflakes here in the high elevations of Colorado and across Montana and Wyoming. So Jackson Hole and Cody, to the west of Denver, Telluride, Vail, Aspen, we could be seeing a few snowflakes. Flash flooding is going to be possible across southern Utah. Arches National Park, Bryce Canyon certainly are two areas that are prone to flash flooding. Please be careful if you're out there visiting the national parks, because if, like I said earlier, if you're not seeing rain, doesn't mean that you won't be seeing any issues from the rain, because the rain is mostly occurring up over the mountains. And that runoff, it can certainly lead to situations where you have flash flooding down in the canyons and passes and low-lying areas, because that water is going to run from the mountains above. So please be careful out there and try to stay safe in the event that flash flooding occurs in your area. Beautiful weather across the West Coast. Beautiful weather across the nation's midsection, warm across the central and northern plains. We're seeing those warm temperatures all the way into Minnesota, where it's in the 70s, but we're seeing those temperatures near 90 along the Gulf Coast. But we're seeing a lot of 80s across Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska, and over into Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana as well. And naturally, it's warm in the lower 80s along the Gulf Coast and across the state of Florida as they attempt to recover and rebuild after Hurricane Ian. For tomorrow, we're going to be seeing again that monsoon moisture across the four corners and that storm system across the northern plains that's going to be spreading some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms across that region. Snowflakes across the central Colorado and into Wyoming and southern Montana. So high elevation snowflakes there. And so again, unsettled weather across the southern plains, the southern Rockies, and the central and northern plains, and the eastern northern Rockies. So a little bit unsettled, not too severe, not a whole lot happening, very light rainfall amounts. So it's just going to be unsettled weather across that region, and still more of that rain associated with our dead tropical storm and an upper level area of low pressure across the mid-Atlantic. So we're going to be seeing that heavy rainfall and up to 5 inches of rain is going to be possible. Now, this is over a 3 or 4 day period that we're going to pick up that 4 to 5 inches of rain. So it could be just spread out enough that we don't have as much issues with flooding, which is why there are no flash flood warnings in place in this region. And the ground is pretty well saturated because they've had a lot of rainfall already in that area. So that rain can pretty well soak in. All right, so that is a look at our weather forecast. So we had, did we do all 3 days? We did. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Interesting. All right. So we did all the way out to Tuesday. Well, we should have had Tuesday. Hey, wait a minute. Okay, all right. Here's today's, tomorrow's. All right. So anyway, I think I made a mistake on there. We're supposed to have Tuesday's forecast up to, but I'm going to tell you this about Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be much of the same. This is going to move only slightly to the east. So this is not moving that far to the west. And this is still going to be right here. Tuesday is practically almost identical to Monday. So anyway, so that's neither here nor there. So that's the weather forecast for the rest of today and through your day on Tuesday, and a little bit about Wednesday, maybe on Thursday. But we'll have another forecast about midweek to update what's been happening and talk about your midweek and end of the work week forecast. All right, thanks for that, for guys, and I hope that video worked out for everybody. And I will see you guys all in the next weather forecast. And if you want a daily weather forecast, now I can't do dailies on YouTube anymore because YouTube is too involved, too much in the way of editing. I have schoolwork to do, so I don't have time to do YouTube videos every single day. So if you want a daily weather forecast, go to Mr. G Weather at TikTok.com. The link is in my channel description, and it's also going to be in the video description that you can go to my TikTok channel where you can get a daily weather forecast. It's like a brief 2 to 3 minute forecast. So there you go. All right, have a great day, guys, and I will see you. I don't know who's watching because nobody left any comments or anything. So, all right, have a good day. Bye-bye.